Let's be real. Are we shocked by this? No. At least I'm not. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. It was only a matter of time before this happened. With the way Kirby Smart and his entire staff handled the JT Daniels situation all throughout the year, it was messy. We also made a video a couple of weeks ago talking about there was many rumors going on, and I wouldn't even call it conspiracy theories because there was some proof behind it, that JT Daniels and his family, they weren't exactly too happy with Kirby Smart and his staff. None of the information was confirmed 100%, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll sum it up real briefly. Most of you know how JT Daniels, he got hurt. Well, apparently the Georgia staff, they cleared him to play, but JT Daniels' family doctor didn't clear him to play, and they didn't want to risk a further injury. A lot of people have said that's what made Kirby Smart mad and where he got, what's the word I'm looking for, on bad terms with JT. Once again, I want to clarify, those are only rumors and speculation, but it almost leaves you wondering, maybe it was true. With the way Stetson Bennett looked against Alabama in the first matchup, and the fact he didn't even put JT Daniels in when they was down by 3 touchdowns, a lot of people believed there was some beef going on between Kirby Smart and JT. I'm not going to lie, at first, I thought there was some serious beef going on between Smart and Daniels. Why do I think that? Because why else would you not at least give your 5-star recruit a shot? And it's not like he's a scrub. As a starter for Georgia, JT was 7-0, so he proved he could ball out. If you're a Georgia fan or keep up with him at all, you'd remember last year when he came in and played in the last 4 to 5 games, he looked like a Heisman contending quarterback. When you're talking about potential, talent, arm talent, skill set, he can even scramble here and there. He's a great talent to have on your team, and he can be an elite weapon at times. With that being said, that's why I find it so strange and odd, and I hope some of you guys understand where I'm coming from, why he didn't even get a shot to get his job back. I believe something had to go down with him and the staff. Maybe we'll hear about that down the road, but we got to focus on what happened today. Earlier today, around 5 to 6 hours ago, Daniels officially made his decision, and I didn't report on it right away because I wanted to give this situation some time to die down. I wanted to give it some time to see if some other players, coaches, or anybody just in general would say something about it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, I'm about to inform you. Georgia's old quarterback, JT Daniels, has announced, or it's being reported, that he's entering the transfer portal. Nobody, and I mean nobody, and I understand, hold on real quick, I want to say, we don't agree on a lot of stuff I say, some of the stuff you say, but we can all agree on we saw this coming. The way it played out for Georgia with Daniels and the entire coaching staff, I could sit up here for hours and talk about how bad it was. You get the point. Whoa, hold on. I know what some of you may be sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, it didn't play out that bad. Kirby Smart, he did the right thing. It played out in the end, and they won the championship. If you're one of those few people saying that, and I've seen that on Twitter and Instagram, I'm going to give you my humbled opinion. Stetson Bennett wasn't the reason Georgia won the championship. I said this before the championship game, and I'm going to stand by it. That was a must-win game for Kirby Smart and his legacy. If he didn't win that game, he was going to be in some serious trouble. Alabama's been so dominant the past 14, 13 years, a lot of people tend to forget, especially in that game, they weren't supposed to win. They were the underdogs. And they were especially the underdogs when their number one playmaker, the fastest guy in the country, number one wide receiver, Jameson Williams, went out of the game. I said it when it happened. You can go to my Twitter and check it out. I tweeted it. If Jameson Williams wasn't going to come back in the game, it's over. Alabama can't win. Is that me predicting the future and being right about something else? Not really, in my opinion. It's common sense. We're not here to talk about that championship game. Let's get back on topic with this video. Yo, Matt, how could you say Georgia, Kirby Smart, whoever, they did him wrong? He got hurt and Stetson Bennett took over the job and never looked back. If you're one of those people trying to make that argument, here's my counter argument. Daniels didn't get treated fairly and he didn't get treated right, and I'll explain why. As a starter for Georgia, like I said, he was 7-0 and he got dinged up in the Clemson game where it was a defensive battle. It wasn't a major injury, but everyone on Georgia was like, hey man, we're playing UAB next week. We don't really need you, but we're going to need you later in the season to beat Alabama. So why don't you rest up and we'll play Stetson Bennett? And that's what happened. Against UAB, Bennett went 10 for 12, threw for nearly 300 yards and had 5 touchdowns. He was fabulous. While that was going on, JT was still somewhat hurt, but when you took a look at their schedule, and that's what their staff did, they was like, wait a minute, hold on. We don't really need you for the next couple of weeks. They had South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas and Auburn in their next 4 games, and Arkansas was a top 10 team at the time, but nobody was too worried about that game, and Auburn wasn't that good either. Where the entire Bennett and Daniels situation got interesting was the Arkansas game. I remember it like it was yesterday. Everyone was expecting JT to come back and play in that game, and when it was announced Bennett was going to be the starting quarterback, some of the Georgia fans were worried. I can't really remember, but I think if they needed him in that Arkansas or Auburn game, they was going to use him. It just so happened they didn't need him, so they was sitting there telling him, hey man, continue to rest up. Here's what happened. It got out of hand. It started out as Kirby looking at Daniels and saying, hey man, we got UAB next week, rest up. Next thing you know, it's been 5, 6, 7 weeks, he's still resting up, and now you're about to play the big boy in Alabama. I also got to give Bennett his respects. To his credit, he was playing out of his mind, and there was no reason to bench him. Why fix what's not broke? So Matt, what are you trying to say? Why did you bring all that up? Georgia, let me repeat, Georgia was the ones encouraging JT to sit out and rest up. And when he was healthy, by the time he wanted to come back, they looked at him and was like, hey man, we can't bench Stetson, he's playing too good. You can look at it however you want. It's almost like they backstabbed him. If you don't think what they did was wrong, I'll put it in an even better perspective. Imagine you're the starting quarterback for your high school team. You're undefeated, let me repeat, undefeated as a starter. You come off of a great win against a top 5 team, but you got dinged up in the game. And you're getting ready for week 2, and your coaching staff comes up to you and says, hey man, we don't got no real competition the next couple of weeks. Why don't you sit these out and get healthy? We're going to need you in week 4 and week 5 so we can, perform at our best. As a player, you're going to listen to your coach, and you say, you know what, coach, you're right. I'm going to sit these out. By the time you're ready to come back in week 5, you go up to coach and say, hey, I'm ready to be the starting quarterback. And he says, oh yeah, about that, we got a replacement. When you put yourself in JT's shoes, you can kind of see how they did him dirty. I'm telling you right now, Kirby, you are one lucky man you won that championship game, and you had one of the greatest defenses of all time. If you wouldn't have won that game, you would have been getting criticized for how you treated JT Daniels the rest of your entire career. But since you won the game, nobody's going to talk about it. You got lucky, Kirby. Anyways, there's only one final question for this video, and for JT. What's next? Whenever we see these quarterbacks enter the transfer portal, we normally get somewhat of an idea of their top 3, 4, or maybe 5 schools. For example, with Spencer Rattler, we knew Carolina, even though it was shocking they was in the mix. With Quinn Ewers, we knew Texas was in the mix. And even Bo Nix. Nobody thought he was going to go to Oregon, but they was still in the discussion. For Daniels, it is a completely different conversation. I don't know if I've ever said this about a 4 or 5-star recruit, but every school in the country has a legit case and argument. He's very familiar with the West Coast. He played at USC. He went all the way to Georgia, so he's familiar with the East Coast. You could see him land up anywhere in the United States. Why do I think any school has a chance at getting him? Because I don't think money is the biggest motivation and the key piece in getting him. I don't think JT's concerned about the money. He knows if he gets to the NFL and if he's a 2nd, 3rd, or 1st round quarterback, he's going to make millions of dollars. The only thing I believe JT is worried about is being a starting quarterback and a coaching staff believing in him for one time in his career. He's been playing college football for so long, and it's been unfortunate with the way things have played out. And honestly, I'm just wishing for him to get to a place where he can be the starter and have no injuries. When you see him play, it's easy to see he has great NFL potential and talent. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Tom Brady, but he has the size and he has the arm. One thing to pay attention to, I think this is really intriguing. If USC doesn't land Caleb Williams, I expect him to, but if they don't, you could see JT reunite with his old school. A couple other front runners I would throw in there, and I think this one makes a lot of sense. I think you could see him go to LSU and try to get revenge on Georgia. LSU and Brian Kelly, they need a good quarterback. And I do need to throw in there, no, I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. The only way LSU could play Georgia next year is if they meet in the SEC championship. And I don't think it's crazy to say that. Do I think LSU is going to make the championship game? No, but it could happen. Another school in the same conference he could transfer to, They also need a quarterback, is Ole Miss. That one obviously makes a lot of sense, and if I was him, I would definitely go to Ole Miss. You got a quarterback-friendly head coach, and who doesn't want to play for Lane Kiffin? He's just so cool to be around. When you start talking about teams outside of the conference, I would say my biggest dark horse to land him would be either Wisconsin or Notre Dame. Those two schools need a good quarterback, especially Wisconsin. I know they got Graham Mertz, but he hasn't impressed me too much. I'm not going to sit up here and name off every school in the country because I actually meant what I said. I could see him going to any school. Money's not a factor. I don't think he's going into this recruitment process and saying, oh, which school can offer me the most money. He simply wants to prove to everyone in the country and even to himself that he can be a great college quarterback. I'm definitely wishing this man the best of luck. He deserves to go to a place where the fan base, the coaching staff, everybody, they want to see him play and they actually want him to be the quarterback. Well, let me know your thoughts down below. But with that being said, it's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great, man. Peace.